Hello everyone, here we are tonight with Jack Trouble
Hello.
at Spiritual Records.
Spiritual Bar.
Spiritual Records upstairs apparently. You're running the
Spiritual
studio.
Record Studio. Spiritual Bar downstairs. Spiritual Records, the entity. Sorry.
It's like an enterprise. That was a joke, obviously.
Yeah, don't say that.
It's a fucked up, messy place, but we're still alive. That's
Yeah.
good. Me and Enzo, the boss behind all this equipment. If you guys could see the amount of equipment he brought here to this bar today, it's incredible. This guy's so professional.
It
I'm
is. This
impressed.
is a
I've never seen anything like that.
very
in this
good
bar.
camera setup.
Yeah, amazing. Well done, Enzo.
Thanks, Enzo.
I'm starting to love you, Enzo. Not just because of the material things. You're a good man as well, and you're a sick bass player. Very good bass player. Anyway, Jack, it's a pleasure to have you here in the podcast. You are part of this podcast as well
Indeed.
because you present this with me.
Indeed.
But we are here now to talk about you, actually, and all the things you do. It's pretty good to have you here working upstairs, taking care of that studio, which was, during the pandemic, Kyle and I we were talking, and I was like, hey, Kyle, I wanted to do a studio here, and Kyle was like, yeah, man, that sounds great.
Kyle
So
makes these sorts of things happen.
we started applying for Arts Council grants and things, and Kyle was helping me to write the whole thing, and Talia and Emma and all these amazing people around us here, and then we managed to get grants from the Arts Council, fix the pandemic, probably pay all the bills because we had loads of debts at the time, and people helped us as well a lot. And then the studio came into life, and suddenly you took it over, running it.
And has grown ever since.
And now how many people you've produced after this 2 years? I mean, it's a little bit more than 2 years, I guess.
I think the first session I ever did in there I spent like about 5 months in there during that pandemic. Well, one of them, the last one,
right, yeah.
recording in there when it wasn't quite finished. But I was,
Wow.
basically moved my entire home studio there. And then there was a few little bits before you actually got the bulk of the equipment itself that is now in there.
Oh, yeah, right.
And then that happened, which was insane. That was a crazy moment to suddenly see
Wow.
boxes full of microphones coming here.
Yeah.
And then the first session, I believe, was in August of 2021. And it was Esme White, Pearly Gate Crashers.
Oh, yeah, what a song, actually.
What a song.
That song did quite well, actually, right?
Yeah, people love that.
Online and
That recording a lot.
Spotify and everything. Well, it's amazing how
Me too.
now there's a huge amount of people getting in touch with us to record with you and be produced by you, and this is pretty impressive, and it makes me very happy to see the way you developed your craft inside of that little room. It's a tiny studio, but I believe our equipment is pretty good.
I like the equipment in there. I also quite like the room.
Yeah,
Has its perks.
I
and
guess as a producer,
things.
it's nice to have one space that you go to. Correct if I'm wrong. I'm not sure. I'm not a producer like you. But you sort of you tune yourself to the room as well, I guess.
Yeah,
you
for sure.
tune your brain to the room like you tune a guitar, I guess, until you get comfortable, and suddenly people come and say, I want this and that. You can just deliver. The idea here is to have these up and coming people, producers, musicians in these charts that we have in here. So to give some doses of energy as well to people that are trying to be a musician, trying to study music production as you did 5 years ago or more than that. And now you're actually living your moment. And
Well, it took a very long time for me to actually grab the bull by the horns and actually go for it. Because, of course, there's such there's a lot of people who are doing music production.
Sure.
And there's so many different types of studios and so many different people who have their selling point, which is come to my studio, look at all this incredible gear I have, this desk, all this sort of thing. It's everyone has their own way of doing things. Mm-hmm. But I started, some people start literally, they have like a family member or whatever, or like they basically just start kind of in a place where it's like, I can do this because I have unlimited resources. Whereas I'm very grateful for my parents, my dad, who showed me it was called a Tascam Porter Studio.
Yeah, I remember Tascam.
Yeah, that was my first ever piece of recording equipment.
Wow.
And even by the standard, it must have been when I was about, I'm gonna say 10. So
10 years old, you're already recording music.
I was trying.
Wow. And playing your own stuff as well.
Playing every instrument very badly.
Wow.
My dad showed me some of it recently.
Were you listening to Prince at that time already?
No.
10 years old?
It was very hard to listen to Prince when I was 10 years old.
Right. Because we all know you're a big fan of Prince. But yeah, wow, it's a long journey, isn't it?
Well,
now you're like, what, 26 years old now?
27.
So you've been doing this for
a while.
More than
quite a long time.
15 years now, 17 years, 16, wow.
Well, it's hard to really count when I would say I officially really started, because those recordings, you have to consider this. So it would have been about 2005, 2006 was when I first started trying to record music with a Tascam Porter Studio, which by 2005 standards, that is very old school.
Yeah, right.
They already had Macs. All this stuff was already.
1995, my dad came home with this computer and then I installed like Cakewalk Sonar. It was the software to record.
I just had no idea.
Yeah, no, it was the dream, because you used to record in cassette tapes, right?
Yeah.
And
that was the first one I tried, was a cassette.
You know, little Sony, but it wasn't a Tascam. Tascam had a better quality. I'm talking about the recorder, you know, like the cassette recorder. You could like play a song and listen, so bad. Yeah. And then that comes with this computer, and then you record for the first time. You're like, whoa, it's like a dream coming true, right? And now it's all over the shop. Now we can record music like never.
I remember
at home, which is great.
My mum got my mum and my dad both around a similar time both got an Apple Mac computer. You know, the one with the dome?
Yeah.
And
that was the dream as well.
And as soon as you...
In Brazil, you didn't have money to get one of those. It was too expensive at the time. Impossible.
Even at the time, I was like, damn, that must be a very expensive computer. But I remember when that came out, and then a few years later... So obviously with computers, the problem with them is that they age really fast. 2 years, that computer is almost obsolete already.
Yep.
And by then, GarageBand happened.
Oh.
And I remember when I saw that advert, I was like, oh my God, what is that? That's insane.
On Apple. Oh.
Yeah,
that computer didn't have that GarageBand. Oh, it was 2 years after I see. Oh, shit.
And we already paid like however much that computer was worth.
Yeah.
Probably quite a lot.
Yeah.
Can't just replace it. And you can't update them because it was too date. It was already like, nah, this computer couldn't run it.
Sure.
So it wasn't until I was about 17 when I first actually got a copy of Logic on the cheapest Mac you can buy, which is a Mac Mini, where you buy your own screen, all this stuff. It's it's not a very powerful computer.
I know the one, yeah.
And since then, just kept trying.
Wow.
Kept trying to make music. And of course, went to university, used digital mixing desk, analog mixing desk. We had like a crazy Neve desk in my third year. It's amazing, but the thing about
the Neve desk, not the preamp, sorry.
No, but they also had Neve preamps inside of it.
It comes with the preamp?
Yeah, it has preamps. I basically got trained up on how to work a proper studio. But even then, there was always a module, and a part of the studying was always also completely still based in computers.
Right.
And since leaving, I realized that is probably, by the standard of today, is the most efficient way to work.
Sure.
So, I mean, I could still use one. If I went back on that desk now, I could probably figure it out again. But yeah, just got really into the idea of recording with a computer.
Yeah, amazing.
And it just makes sense.
Yeah.
And
now that's what you do full time here at the bar.
Indeed. And
if you're planning to play some music, record some music, you can always come here to us and have a chat with us upstairs. We show you guys some stuff for recordings, and talk to Jack, the master, running the studio. And of
course we have Wayne Proctor on the mixing.
Oh yeah, Wayne Proctor was a good thing that happened in our lives, right? Since we met Wayne Proctor, he's just like mixing and mastering everything, and it turns everything like
Indeed.
much better. Because I guess it's quite difficult if you're recording everything, and then you have to, after the recordings, you have to edit everything, clean all the little bits that are wrong or something, and fix stuff. And then after that, you mix everything, and then after that, you have to. Master is another.
Yeah,
world,
I don't really go down that road anymore.
But if you have to mixing must be a tough thing, right? When you have to.
I don't really do it anymore, to be honest. I kind of got to a point where it's like you're too ingrained and too involved inside of a project.
Sure.
That you get to a point where it's like, so if there's anything here that isn't working, that really mixing is to place everything and make it sound like it's cohesive and part of one sonic space. And you get to a point where it's like, oh my God, this sound isn't working. What's wrong with it? Maybe it just shouldn't be there.
Right.
So then it's like, maybe I should just go back to the arrangement, and you just go back and forth. And then it's like, what really needs to be fixed? So I just kind of gave up on that whole area. I don't really find it very amusing anyway.
Right.
Compared to actually just being in the thick of making a song.
And then jumping more into the production, for those who don't know what producing music is. It's like, actually you're going to sit down with the musician. You take a song from A to B. Maybe like, oh, I'm having a problem with this chord here. You're going to help them to fix the chord, find different ways you can record. That comes into it as well, but it's just kind of play some instruments, come up with ideas. That's the producer's job, right? To put flowers around people's music and come up with like new ideas and new instruments. Oh, maybe we could do this here and that. Right? That definitely comes into it. But I think the role of a producer really, as it stands, is just to make that song into a song that you can listen to. And most case scenarios, a musician will come with their demo, and then it's like, okay, I want to take this demo and I just want to make it better. I want to make it sound richer, larger, and embellish on that. Whereas sometimes people come with literally nothing. Yeah, they've just got a melody, chords, maybe even not even that. That turns your job like more difficult, I guess. No, it's just the job. Like, what about if somebody comes with the whole demo already, and I want like this, and you don't like it at all? How do you deal with that? I'm pretty lucky that I've never worked on something I don't like. Yeah. Like, there's maybe someone will play me something and I'll be like, that doesn't sound good. But that's because they are not someone who is, going to be recording it with a $3,000 microphone in a really treated space or an untreated space. Or they've just not, they don't know how to make something sound like it can be released. Sure. Where it wouldn't sound very good, especially if you have very good speakers, then you can hear everything wrong with it. But no, arrangement wise, I've never been in a situation where I was like, nah, this song just isn't good. Yeah, everything's good. Yeah, and then on the top of all this, which is a lot of work, I guess, sitting with like different musicians. I see you guys working there. I pass by there. I try to help sometimes, but you are the one doing it, and that's a lot of work. It's quite exhausting, isn't it? Sometimes. And then on the top of that, you have your music as well going on. You have like, if you don't know Jack, go on Spotify and find his stuff as well, Jack Trouble, which you recorded everything yourself. You recorded both albums here, right? No, just the second one. First one was in my mum's house. Yeah, right. Yeah. So, and then you record the whole thing yourself. Why is that? Like, why do you prefer to record the bass and everything? You don't trust other bass players. You want to do everything by yourself. Because, well, so this is actually something that has... a drummer. You got a drummer, right? Yeah. That's the only thing you got for the album, which is not you. Which was Adam Sheffield, who played drums on the second record. Yeah. The reason is because most of those recordings, as they stood, those songs were written in the studio. And that means that I'm working realistically and writing those songs at the same time. And the time when I will be doing that is usually about 3-4 in the morning. Yeah. I used to stay here until literally sunrise.
and then leave. Sorry. But there's no way that I can be like
No. It's your house as well.
Well, you know.
You do it.
But there's not really any way that you can be like, call someone up at 4 a.m. be like, hey, can you come and play this bass line for me? Because I want it now. I'm very like, when I'm recording something, I want it that moment. It's like that's
also you have to set up everything. I'm just trying to get people to understand how hard it is to record music. It's not that simple, right? It demands a lot of patience, and you have to know what you're doing. Like,
yeah. And I feel like even though it would be nice to have all these people who could just come in and play parts, which to be fair, I'm working on something now and I'm trying to get more people just to play stuff just for a laugh. But it's mostly just because efficiently I can do it faster just because I'm right there in that moment. Even if I play the bass line 50 times and then chop it together, it still will be a quicker process than me calling someone, them saying, all right, listening to it, then finding a day where they can come in and do it, which will take a week or more to
you can
organize.
learn that's really well.
I can do it just now.
Right. Wow, that's the power of technology as well.
It is.
And yeah, we are able to do these things these days. Not long ago, you'd have to get everybody in the same room and smash the song and rehearse it and make sure everything was perfect. There was no other options, not many options in the past, right? Just get the band in the room and boom.
It's still a great way to record though.
Yeah.
It still sounds awesome, but it is a lot more, it gives you a great result. It's so dependent as well on what people want. I like things being very separated and recorded separately, because
how many tracks in one of like some of your songs, how many tracks do you have? How many takes of different instruments?
Takes is insane. Sometimes we'd go up to like 70 takes of drums.
No, I mean like in one song you have all the files. How many
like
tracks,
right? Anywhere between like 80 to 130, something like that.
Wow. 130 parts of instruments.
Yeah, but that's also like
backing vocals, blah blah blah.
Yeah, and you might have multiple mics on one source, and that makes up more tracks.
That's incredible.
Yeah, it comes to something like that, but it's quite easy to organize once you kind of know what is building up that entire
but mixing
thing.
It, going back to the mixing, that'll be hard work.
Yeah, that's why I don't do it anymore.
You have to get each of those tracks sound wise, making sense and going together, blah blah blah.
But a lot of them are meant to work in tandem with one another. Like if you have like a big gang vocal of people singing, and let's say you layer like 30 voices on top of each other, you might take that as just one stereo sound. Right. And then there it is. But to create that one sound takes 30 layers of voices.
I see. Yeah, I understand that. Wow. Well, was nice to chat with you, Jack.
Today we chat on microphones.
It's nice sharing that with people as well, which are, again, trying to be like a producer, a musician. You know, that's why we're doing this as well, to feed people with ideas and give people some hope, because I know I get to meet lots of young people here, and sometimes like they have like low confidence. Oh, I'm not sure, but you know, there's always a chance if you keep pushing it and trying to find your sound and your craft, and you know what to do with all that information and with all the musicality you have inside of you. You can always expand and be creative and go to many different places, right?
Indeed.
That's incredible. I would love to listen to you playing a song, but you're not going to play a song. Otherwise, you're going to have to record that and play a song, and that would be difficult.
It'll make things very messy.
It'd be nice to listen to a song now.
It would be nice.
But it's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen.
Maybe next time, okay.
Well, perhaps, maybe, if you want to hear a song, you should just come down to Spiritual Bar and have a listen and see it live
when you're playing
in the flesh.
Right, fair enough. Thank you, Jack Trouble.
Thank you, boss.
It's a pleasure. And thank you, Enzo the legend.
Thank you, Enzo.
Enzo, without you, life would be harder.
What a beautiful ending.